What is going on, everybody? So we were trying to get online for about the last 8 minutes. And, it's funny that it's 8 minutes because for whatever reason, 8 has been a number that has been existing in my world for a little while now, on top of mind. From an intentional, just conscious awareness standpoint, 8 seems to have a deep level of resonance with me. And ironically, it's our infinity sign turned sideways. So that's neither here nor there. But what we're going to talk about today, we had a last minute cancellation with our guest, and we had technical issues. And there's a whole slew of things that are happening today that completely flip-flopped our day in a really positive way. And so today, what we're going to talk about today is going to be rapid fire content. And I'm just going to talk for a few minutes on going with the flow. Last week, my wife and I were down in Cabo with our kids on vacation. And over the course of the last 18 to 24 months, as we've been intentionally aligning our life, intentionally integrating our life, we are constantly looking for ways where we can break the traditional mold or historical model of what working life and working hours look like. We've been modifying the way we can integrate so that I can be a part of taking kids to school and going to sporting events and doing things and integrating it all the while amongst my travel and amongst what we're doing with clients and content creation and team leadership and all of the above. And the beautiful part about the flexibility that we get to create with the life that we've intentionally designed that is self-regulating over time is that we truly can pivot and go and focus in the areas that we need to at the time. But there are inevitably hurdles, challenges, roadblocks that hit us along the way, things that we don't anticipate, things that we can't expect, things that we never see coming. And so sometimes we get so set in our ways as human beings, so set in our behavioral patterns because of the environmental conditioning that has put us there, that we are in a position that when all of a sudden we get hit with something unexpected, we sometimes get stuck, we get frozen, we pause, we don't actually move through it or move beyond it very quickly. We had a day last week where we actually had a lot of work that we had to get done. And I hate to even say that when I say we had a lot of work that had to get done. It's work that we got to get done. It was work that we chose to get done. It's things that are all driving towards impact, that align with our mission, that help fulfill our purpose in everything that we do. And while I was in Cabo, I was able to do it very intentionally, where I was only really checking in and doing work, if you will, the activities that I get paid for about an hour a day. Most days. And then I'd get down on the beach and we'd play in the water with the kids and we'd go swim and we'd go walk down around Cabo and we'd just experience being in that beautiful place together. I'd get up and do my morning routines before the family was done so that I could be done and integrate the rest of my day with them. But this one day, both Ashley and I said, hey, we've got a lot we really would like to move forward today. We both were feeling like after 5 or 6 days, we wanted to have a touch point, get reconnected to everything that we're doing and just align it. Well, after 5 days of just beautiful connection with our family, we decided, you know what, we're going to have a pool day instead of a beach day. And I don't know what started it. It was actually a day that my daughter and I got up to go watch the sunrise. So she and I were already on the beach early that morning. We'd already accomplished a lot by the time the sun even came up. And we'd already connected and had joy, freedom, and fulfillment and allowed ourselves to recognize those little moments that we can pause and view the beauty right in front of us. And so when we get back, we said, hey, we're going to have a pool day. And we went, and about 8 a.m., the kids were in the pool. It was early morning. Weather in Cabo was beautiful last week. And we sit down by the pool, and I had some videos that I wanted to edit personally. Our team does a phenomenal job. They are always cranking out quality content. We have amazing graphic designers that are always putting out the best of the best. And we're so blessed to have that. But sometimes I actually really enjoy editing my own photos or doing some of my own videos because it's a creative outlet for me that allows me to get into flow. And it's a way that I can demonstrate some of my creativity and my messaging to the world in my own lens, literally. And so I was doing those things, but I was also doing some social catch up. I was communicating with some of the people in our DMs who were wanting to get some help with coaching or understanding or impact. And so I was moving all those things forward. We sat by the pool for 12 hours that day. And the kids, we were in and out of the pool with the kids. The kids were coming around. They were totally connected to the fact that they knew that we were there. We were present. We were laughing. We weren't distracted. We were very much a part of what was happening all around us. 12 hours, our kids played in the pool while we got to eat breakfast, lunch, and decided to get an afternoon snack all around the pool while we were able to integrate our life. The amount of things that Ashley and I moved forward in that space, because we were so connected to each other and so connected to our kids and so connected to the energy that we were experiencing in the time, that the impact of the work that we did last week and the activities that we get paid for were profound. And it's really funny because Ashley literally told me on the trip that she's really just working on trying to go with the flow. What does that mean? What does that mean? I want to be really clear here, and I give a giant caveat. Because when I talk about the things that I get to do and the things that our family does, it is never from a place of vanity. It is never from a place of bragging, and it is never from a place to impress. So when I say that we're down in Cabo and we're doing some of these travels, it is also not lost on me how many people are not in a position to be able to do those things right now for any variety of reasons based on the economy, jobs, health, or what's been going on from our global pandemic. And so we're very blessed to be able to go do this. But as we were leaving for the week, Ashley carries so much weight for our family that allows me to come into the family and carry the weight that I need to carry. And that I can also do the things I need to do as it relates to fulfilling our mission and our business and leading our teams, etc. So she carried all this weight, which meant that she had a pressure leading up to leaving that was something I didn't have. So the day of travel with our son on the autism spectrum, who's got anxiety, who has ADHD and scarcity or sensory processing disorder, he was having a really hard time sitting still on the plane. It was a chaotic travel day. And we got to the hotel and we realized that Blake left his Game Boy Switch on the airplane. The Switch, 5 to 6 games. He got it for Christmas this last year. For his birthday, he got some games. He saved up some of his own money and bought games. You know, we're talking probably in excess of $500 of electronics. Well, this is one of his outlets. It's one of the ways that he can settle his mind. It's one of the ways that he can unplug from the world and really get into his own so that he can center himself. Because when the demands of the environment exceed his ability to cope, anxiety spikes. But truly, the screen every once in a while allows him to center. That doesn't mean that we let him be on his screen all day, every day, but especially when we're going on vacation, it is a tool and it's a toy. Ashley had a tough evening. She struggled with that. And so I looked at that and said, okay, what does everybody need? Kids need movement. They need connection. Ashley needs some space. So I grabbed the kids. We rolled down to the playground. We rolled down to the beach. We rolled to the pool. And for the next 3 hours, we just enjoyed being where we were despite what had just happened. We go through the whole week. And that night I got online. I started making calls to American Airlines. I started trying to touch base with the airport. And unfortunately, couldn't get a hold of anybody. But I did submit a lost item ticket and started tracking it. We decided we were going to let go of the Game Boy right out of the get-go in the week, and that we were going to immediately lean in and not let any of the pressure or stress of any of our external life or any of the chaos that was existing with our children integrating into a new environment until they could be totally calm and settled. And we just rolled and had a beautiful trip. So we get to the airport Friday, and we're checking in our bags. And I said to Ashley, hey, make sure to ask if they have a lost and found here. Blake was panicking about the loss of his Game Boy. He was already recognizing, because we had told him it's not something that we take lightly. It is his responsibility. It is a heavy responsibility. And when we lose things like that, there are consequences. Not that he's in trouble, not that he's being penalized. Mistakes happen that we need to learn from. However, that doesn't mean that he's going to get a new Game Boy right now. Which meant that he might have to cancel some of his summer camps because he's going to some Minecraft camps. That might mean that he's got to change some different elements around it. And the reality of it is that he started to panic because he knows. And he also was carrying a great amount of weight himself because he knew what he was missing out on. And he knew that it was something that was his responsibility. So he felt really badly. Now, we didn't beat him up for it. We didn't get him in trouble for it. We just were trying to talk to him about the reality. So he was already in a mentality to say, all right, how do I save every dollar I can get from Christmases, from birthdays, from anything? Is there anything I can sell? Is there anything I can do? Because he's motivated to get that Nintendo back. Well, we were given a gift. It was in Lost and Found at the airport. And we had to wait for about an hour for them to go get it and find it. But we were able to get him back on his Game Boy before the flight home. Now, that's just one example of about 15 things that took place last week that were unexpected, that we weren't prepared for, that weren't a part of our plan or path. And in historical life, when we've operated in a place where we can't neutralize and diffuse the resistance and energy drain in our life, when we take ourselves very, very seriously, when we're worried about being judged, when we're worried about the pressures of the world, we can exist in a space where we aren't actually able to be present in the moment. Presence is everything. And I've said recently that I'm focused a lot on doing less and being more. Because when I can be, I am. When I can be, I am in flow. When I can be, life just happens. And we don't have to worry about it being defined as good or bad anywhere around us. We can really focus on what's important. What was important is that we were down celebrating the connection of our family, celebrating a successful school year for our kids. It was very challenging for them. Celebrating the connection and reminder for what we were doing. And our kids, who've been arguing a lot in the last 2 months, reconnected last week. They were playing. Yeah, they were still arguing. They're 6 and 8 and they're siblings. Like, let's be honest. But the intensity of it had dropped and the connection for them increased because all we did was focus on being present and letting ourselves go with the flow. I believe that if we can pause long enough to see the beauty of this moment, that's where we get to exist with zero limits, with all the beauty of the world for eternity, simultaneously in the moment. How are you going with the flow? What challenges have you faced recently? What pressures didn't you see coming? What areas did you get hit that have caused you to be stuck, that have caused you to not be able to move forward? And how are you actually going through a process of understanding and unrooting the emotional triggers and behavioral patterns that might be keeping you there? The reality of it is we are all going to be stuck. We're all going to be stuck again. I'm just advocating that it's not okay for us to stay there because movement is life. To go with the flow literally means move, flow, not remain stagnant, not remain stuck. Where are you challenging yourself to go with the flow more? How are you taking yourself less and less seriously so that you can see the beauty in every single moment despite what the world is trying to show you, which appears as chaos? Going with the flow means connecting with yourself at the deepest level so you can connect with those around you at the deepest level and allow that to permeate to connection in every area of your life, business, connection, health, and relationships. So next week, we've got a couple of really fire guests and I cannot wait. No Limits Us is ramping up very strong and we've got some really big announcements. So for those of you that are actually interested, please make sure that you shoot us a DM so that we can talk to you about what's going on. We're going to be updating the website to reflect some of those changes here in the coming days. But very, very excited about a number of things that are existing in this world right now. And tonight is going to be a really beautiful thing that I can't talk to you about now, but later I will try to show you where I'm at and how I've learned to go with the flow even more, which happened real time in the last 24 hours also. Thank you so much for all of you that continue to tune in, consume, and move yourselves into action. We know that when you move yourself, you move others. Move people, and that's what we need is as much collective impact as possible. We know the chaos that's going on in the world. We know the fear that exists. We know the hate that's existing, and we know the level of suffering. And our goal to impact 1 billion lives as quickly as possible is to elevate and empower people to alleviate the suffering in their own lives. Let us know how we can help you. And until we see you next time, be great and be you.